So, good morning, friends at various centers. As you know, this course is about research methodology. And if you recall the process, research begins with the selection of a problem, defining the problem, stating the objectives, formulating the hypothesis, reviewing the literature, and then selection of research design, development of tool, selection of sample using an appropriate sampling technique, collection of data, followed by data analysis. Now, we assume that all these you have already been carried out, and now it is this time for writing the research report. Research report is nothing but the concluding activity of any piece of research or any project work. It's a concluding activity. That is, it has the research has already been carried out, and we want to report the findings, conclusion, and recommendation or suggestions, if any. So this session is about report writing. And before I go to report writing, because the report writing is nothing but involving communication through writing. So as a teacher or as a researcher, we need to know the ABC of effective written communication. So I'll not take much time, but I'll give you a brief overview of the importance of written communication and do's and don'ts regarding written communication. If you are also familiar with the functions the written communication can play, there are basically two roles. One is that it clarifies for both the writer and the reader, because it has been recognized as a indispensable part of any piece of research work or project work, as it records the importance, the purpose, the procedures, the statistics, results, reports, etc. in such a way that the writer himself in systematizing his own piece of research work or project work, as well as it will be beneficial to other readers who could make use of the findings in their situations. So that is why written communication plays a very important role. And secondly, the purpose is to inform the reader, to convey information, okay, to inform them about something. So these are the two basic functions of any written communication, whether it is a report writing, and reports are of various types, like say laboratory report, progress report, activity report, incident report, inventory report. There are various types of reports, okay, whether you are writing a letter, whether you are writing an article. So these are the two basic roles. Now, the systematic technique of writing any document, whether it is a report or something else. The first is establish the aim. You need to begin with an aim, because if you do not know why you are writing, then you will never get there, and even your readers will not get there along with you. So you have to specify the broad aim, followed by a list of you can say specific objectives. So that will help you to focus on those objectives, okay. Second is, you need to consider the reader. Who is your reader? Who is going to read your article or paper or report? Then devise the structure, prepare the first draft, and then edit and revise. So this is a systematic technique of writing any document. Now, aim is very important. So as a reader, you need to know why you are writing, what you hope to achieve through written communication. Consider the reader. That is what they already know. Affects what you can leave out. You need not repeat it. What they need to know determines what you should include in your report or in your other written communication, and what they want to know suggests the order and emphasis of your writing. So because if you know your reader well, message will flow very quickly, very smoothly. But if you do not know who your reader is, what are their qualities, then it will be very difficult to select suitable words for writing the document. So what kind of people are they? How well do you know them? What is their experience of the reports topic? What is their level of knowledge? What is their likely attitude to it? What is their personal involvement? And how do they rank the importance of topic like that? So as a writer, you need to ask these questions from yourself in terms of knowing your reader. Okay. Now you need to devise the structure. For devising the structure, you first of all organize your ideas. You prepare a list of ideas what you want to include in your report or in your any document. So list down main ideas and then jot down the subordinate ideas below the main ideas, and finally you evaluate those ideas and find out whether there is any repetition of ideas or not. So you can discard the repetition. Prepare a first draft, and as a writer you must know that every paper must contain three parts. One is the introduction, second is the body of the report, and third one is the conclusion. Introduction, the purpose is to introduce the readers about the objectives of your written communication. It is the first paragraph. It begins with a general statement about the topic and ends with a specific one. And the purpose is to let the reader know about what the topic is, inform the reader about your point of view, and arouse the reader's curiosity so that he or she will want to read about your topic. Now, body of the paper follows the introduction. Number of paragraphs are included in the body of the paper, which you develop your ideas in detail, but you have to limit each paragraph to one main idea, not more than one idea in one paragraph. And secondly, you need to prove your points continually by using specific examples, illustrations, quotations, etc. Since you know about your reader, so you need to use familiar language in which your readers can understand. So use transition words to ensure a smooth flow of ideas from one paragraph to another paragraph. And third component is the conclusion of the paper, the last paragraph. The purpose is to summarize your main ideas. You are not here including the specific examples. Now you are generalizing and you are restating the main idea of the paper. Okay. Now coming to revision of the first draft. First draft is ready. It doesn't mean that you will be submitting the report as such. You need to revise. You need to look at. So try to set aside this draft for a day or two, because if you immediately read it again, you will not be able to find any error. So it will be easier to view your work objectively and see any gaps. आपने कभी देखा होगा जैसे आपने 2 महीने पहले या 6 महीने पहले कोई पेपर लिखा है, and if you start reading now, आप कहते हैं यार मैं उस दिन कितना बुद्धू था, मैंने कैसा लिखा है पेपर, राइट? उसी समय आप एरर जो है डिटेक्ट नहीं कर सकते, राइट? सो कुछ देर के लिए उसको रख दीजिए. सो रिवीजन इन्वॉल्व्स rethinking your ideas, refining your arguments, reorganizing the paragraphs, and rewording the sentences. Okay, and you need to develop your ideas in more detail, giving more evidence to support your claim, or delete material which is not relevant or which is not necessary. Read your paper out aloud. बोल के पढ़िए. आपको पता चलेगा कहां पर पॉज है, कहां कॉमा लगाना है, कहां फुल स्टॉप लगाना है. Sometimes it makes easier to identify writing that is very awkward or not clear. Or you can request your friend or your colleague to read the paper and ask him to tell you if there is anything which is not clear. He or she may give you very good feedback. Proof, read the final draft. Very important. Look for errors like misspelled words, incorrect punctuation, grammar, or unnecessary capitalization. So you need to look at. Or another technique is you read backwards. Read one line at a time. That is, for example, time, a, at, line, one, read. In this way, you will be able to find out any spelling error or anything which is not clear. You can also read long words syllable by syllable. That is, say, psychology. So in this way, you will be able to write the spelling of a word very correctly. Long words, spelling, mispronunciation. Okay. So in this way, you will be able to write it very clearly. And always have a hard copy of the paper, because it is very difficult to find any error on a computer. So take a printout, and spelling grammar checkers sometimes do not always catch errors. So you need to take a printout and read it. Now, check your report or document for clarity. Okay. Use very simple and understandable words and avoid obscure words like, say, aforementioned. So a simple word is already discussed. Supersede. The simple word is replace. Attached herewith. We always are in the habit of writing attached herewith. So simply write attached. Issuance. The simple word is send. Cognizant means to know. Avoid abbreviations, acronyms, or technical jargons. You have to give a table of abbreviations or jargons or acronyms in the beginning of your report. Only then you can use those abbreviation or acronyms or jargons. It is always better to write or use verbs in the active voice rather than in the passive voice, because active voice sentence is very much you can say specific and clear to the reader. For example, overtime is favored by hourly workers. This is passive sentence. It's a long sentence. But instead of using passive, you use active verb like hourly workers favor overtime. Conciseness. Check for conciseness. So limit paragraph length. Let me give you one example. You read this version 1, and there is one full stop only, very long paragraph, and you will not be able to make out what is written in it. To maintain proper stock balance of respirators and canister elements, and to ensure the identification of physical limitations which may negate an individual's fit test, a GBC 16 respirator request and issue record will need to be submitted for each respirator requested for use. Very difficult to find out what is contained in this paragraph, because the paragraph is very lengthy and there is no there is only one sentence. Now I have rewritten this bigger paragraph. This is the version 2. Now you can very easily find out what is written. Please submit a GBC 16 respirator request and issue record for each requested respirator. We then can maintain proper respirator and canister element stock balances. We also can identify limitations which may negate an individual's previous fit test. So one long sentence is broken down into 3 sentences. Now these 3 sentences are very simple and you can easily understand what is asked or what is contained in the paragraph. Another is avoid shun words, that is those words which end with shun voice. I want you to take into consideration the following. Consideration. Simply write consider. The following. Came to the conclusion. Concluded or decided. Make revision. Again shun sound. Revise. Avoid camouflaged words. Sometimes the significance of one word is camouflaged with 2 or 3 more unnecessary words. For example, with the exception of. Now here the emphasis is on except, but there are unnecessary words with the, shun of. Okay, make an amendment to. Simple amend. Thanking you in advance. Thank you. For the purpose of discussing. Discuss. Another is omit unnecessary words, redundancies. For example, during the year of 2009, the year of is not needed. Simply write during 2009. Another is, it is needless to say. If it is needless to say, why to say then? So no need to write such words. The results so far achieved proved. You see, you have performed the activity, you have got the results. So far achieved. No need to mention. Simply write the results prove. Okay, because they have the results have also already been received. Now many a times we begin our letter to some outside agency with this sentence. This has reference to your letter number dated so and so on the subject mentioned above. No need to write this has. Simply write reference your letter number dated on the subject. Subject is already given there. Why to write mentioned above or stated above? We have been in the habit of writing these unnecessary words. Avoid wordy phrases. Okay, enclosed please find with. Enclosed is in accordance with, according to. I am in receipt of. Simply write received a great number of times, often. And also you check for accuracy, because many a times we search the literature through previous dissertations. अगर पिछले रिसर्चर ने कुछ रिव्यूज में गलती की हुई है, वो गलती जो है ट्रांसफर करेगी. कई बार आपने देखा होगा ईयर में मिस्टेक होती है, ऑथर के ईयर में, कभी उसके स्पेलिंग में मिस्टेक होती है, कंटेंट में ईयर कुछ और है, रेफरेंसेस में कुछ और है. सो इट इज ऑलवेज बेटर टू एक्सेस द you can say original manuscript. मान लीजिए एक और पीएचडी स्कॉलर है, उसने काम किया हुआ उसी एरिया में जिसमें आप काम कर रहे हो. उसने कुछ स्टडीज के रेफरेंसेस दिए हुए हैं, लेकिन साथ में वो रेफरेंसेस में जर्नल का नाम वगैरह वगैरह लिखा हुआ है. सो यू नीड टू access those journals yourself to check for accuracy. Another is, you can ask questions before preparing final draft. So completeness, conciseness, and about these, ये checklist मैंने आपको दे दी है. You can go through it. Not very you can say difficult. These are the questions for correctness. तो ये मैं आपको print out दे के जा रहा हूँ, so you can go through it. Now coming to our topic, research report writing. As I said you in the beginning, report is a concluding activity of any piece of research or project work. Why concluding activity? Because you have already identified the problem, you have defined the problem, you have written down the objectives, you have formulated the hypothesis on the basis of review of literature, you have selected a suitable research design, you have also selected the sample, You have also developed the tool, you have collected the data, you have analyzed the data. Now is the time to report the findings. So research report means what the research was intended and how it was intended. So that is why we always write report in past tense. और ये research proposal से different है. Research proposal is about what is research, what research is to be intended and how is to be intended. So that is why it is written in future tense. Okay, it is to be reported, it is to be written in past tense. So report is an account brought by one person to another person, especially of some matter specially investigated. For example, in your organization, some incident has happened, and your boss asked you to investigate the incident, why it happened, okay, who were involved. So it means you are writing a report. So you are preparing a report for your boss. So it is an account brought by one person to another. Okay, you are preparing your ME thesis and submitting to Punjab University Chandigarh. Punjab University Chandigarh is evaluating your thesis. Okay, so it is a formal statement of the results of an investigation. Formal statement. You are publishing, you are sending your paper for publication in journal, or you are submitting your thesis for award of ME degree or PhD degree. So you are writing in a formal way, or any of any matter on which definite information is required, made by some person or body instructed. Say your boss asked you to report what you were doing at work, what progress have you made in the project, and how you will give the schedule for the next course of activity. So that is why you are writing a progress report. Okay, or it is required to do so. For example, you are doing ME thesis and there is a requirement of carrying out research work, and that is why you mention on the title page itself that a ME dissertation is submitted to some university in partial fulfillment to the requirement of Master of Engineering degree. You write because it is the requirement, only then you will get the ME degree. So a formal statement of the results of an investigation or of any matter on which definite information is required, made by some person or body instructed or required to do so. This is the definition given in Oxford Dictionary. Whereas proposal is what project is intended and how it is to be intended, and like that. So it is written in future tense, report is written in past tense. Now, why report writing? The purpose is to supply a record of activities or work you have accomplished, record and clarify complex information for future reference. That is why you are preparing a report. You want to present information to a large number of people. You are preparing a report, because written communication is the cheapest and the reliable method to reach the target population. क्योंकि अगर मैं कोई इंफॉर्मेशन बोलकर बताता हूं और मैं काफी लोगों को बोलता हूं कि भाई ये आप सबको कन्वे कर दो, तो जो स्पोकन लैंग्वेज है, स्पोकन जो कम्युनिकेशन है, जो अंत में जिस व्यक्ति के पास पहुंचेगी वो सेम मैसेज नहीं रहेगा, उसमें डिस्टॉर्शन आ जाएगी. Whereas written communication is the reliable method of reaching the target population, and it ensures that they all receive the same message, isn't it? आप रीड आउट कर रहे हैं, सबके पास एक पन्ना पहुंच गया, कागज पहुंच गया. Somebody is very fast at reading, somebody is very slow at reading, so he or she can read at his or her own pace. but the message is clear to everybody. So that is why written message or written communication is very cheap and very you can say reliable method. So you can present information to a large number of audience. You can record problems you have encountered. Say you are organizing a seminar, you have encountered number of problems, you are preparing the proceeding, you can report all those things. Okay, how many papers were presented, what problems you have faced, and so on. You can document the schedule, the timetable, the milestones, recommend future action. Purpose is to document current state of affair, or the purpose is to record the procedure. These are the basic purposes of report writing, and reports are of two kinds: formal reports and informal reports. The format of formal reports contain the title page, table of content, abstract भी होता है, and you need not include all these things in case of informal report, because informal reports are written for you can say in-house circulation. These are not sent to outside agencies. Formal reports are sent to some outside agency. Say you have taken some grant from DST, okay, for carrying out some research work, and finally you are submitting the report, so it must contain the title page. मैं आपको आगे बताऊंगा कि टाइटल पेज में क्या क्या इंक्लूड करना है, ओके, और लिस्ट ऑफ टेबल या जो एब्स्ट्रैक्ट है वो कैसे लिखना है. लेकिन जो इंटरनल है, से आपके एचओडी ने आपको बोला यू नीड टू राइट द प्रोग्रेस ऑफ द वर्क यू हैव कैरिड आउट ऑन ए पर्टिकुलर प्रोजेक्ट, तो उसमें फॉर्मेट जो है सिंपल है. फॉर्मल रिपोर्ट का जो स्कोप है, इट अटैक्स ऑल एस्पेक्ट्स ऑफ ए लार्ज प्रॉब्लम, वेयर एज द इनफॉर्मल रिपोर्ट का जो स्कोप है, इट इज वेरी नैरो एंड लिमिटेड नंबर ऑफ इसमें एस्पेक्ट्स हैं. पर्पस ऑफ फॉर्मल रिपोर्ट इज decision making process. On the basis of your findings, decision is made, whereas the purpose of informal report is to give the departmental information or the action. Formal reports are read by several readers, क्योंकि आज के जमाने में जैसे हम बोलते हैं शोध गंगा एक वेब पोर्टल है, सारे डेजर्टेशन सारी यूनिवर्सिटीज के वहां पढ़े हैं. Now it is accessible to everybody, not only in India, outside India also. Okay, आप एक टॉपिक डालेंगे, you will get a list of PhD dissertation, कौन कौन से किस किस एरिया में हुए हैं. So you have to be very careful. So it is read by several people, whereas the informal report के जो reader हैं, it may be one person or maybe few HODs. Now coming to types of reports. One is the accident report or incident report. What happened? How did it happen? When did it happen? Why did it happen? Who was involved? Like that. So you are preparing an accidental report. Inventory report. You have laboratory workshops. You have central store. And your boss asks you to prepare an inventory report, which will contain what is in storage and what needs to be ordered. ठीक है ना, कि भी मान लीजिए अगले सेमेस्टर के लिए प्लानिंग करनी है, तो यू कैन प्लान आउट. तो दिस इज इन्वेंटरी रिपोर्ट. स्टाफ यूटिलाइजेशन रिपोर्ट. इज स्टाफ सफिशिएंट एंड एफिशिएंटली you can say used, because sometimes we ask for more manpower and the boss says you give me the staff utilization report, and on the basis of staff utilization you will give the justification for more requirement. Progress or activity report. What is our status? Weekly, monthly, quarterly, annually. Travel report. Because in many organizations, it is mandatory to write a travel report. Say one faculty member is sent for training to some other organization. The management wants him or her to write a travel report. Field visit के लिए आप गए हैं तो field visit report. Okay. Laboratory report. How did we do it? Why test was performed? How it was performed? What test results were? And what follow-up action, if any, is required? So you prepare a laboratory report. Performance appraisal report. How is an employee doing on the job? Or the study report, study visit report. So these are various types of reports. The systematic technique of writing I have already discussed. That is, you will begin with aim. You will consider the reader. You will prepare the. You will devise the structure. कि पहले क्या आएगा, फिर क्या आएगा, फिर क्या आएगा. Okay, sequence यानी ideas हैं. Ideas को sequence में लिखेंगे. First draft ready करेंगे. उसके बाद उसको revision, editing वगैरह करेंगे. तो कोई भी report हो. Or justification report, recommendation report. Why we need large budget this year? Why we need the material on this day? Why we need these equipments, etc. आप बजट बनाते हैं अपने डिपार्टमेंट का, डायरेक्टर के पास जाता है, वहां प्रेजेंटेशन होती है, तो जो आपको जस्टिफिकेशन देनी है कि आपको किस लिए चाहिए, तो it is also a report. So all these reports share certain generic similarities in format. सबका कुछ ना कुछ similar है, development and style. Now coming to the format of a formal report, thesis, etc. जो भी कुछ आप कह सकते हैं. And the format, if you look at the format, there are three sections. One is the preliminary section, or you can say preliminary material. Body of the report, 4 major chapters: the introduction, the methodology, presentation and analysis of data, summary, conclusions, and recommendations. And then the third section is the reference material. So these are the three basic steps. Now let us take these one by one. First is the preliminary material. First, transmittal correspondence. This page is included in those reports which you are submitting to outside agencies. And sometimes outside agency asks you to conduct a study on their behalf. So that is why transmittal correspondence is given. So title page. इसमें सबसे पहले title page है. Then a statement of when it was requested. से आपको डायरेक्टर टेक्निकल एजुकेशन हरियाणा ने आपको एक बोला कि ये आपने रिपोर्ट कंडक्ट करनी है, ये आपने रिसर्च कैरी आउट करनी है. सो स्टेटमेंट ऑफ व्हेन इट वाज रिक्वेस्टेड, व्हाट इज द पर्पस ऑफ द प्रोजेक्ट और द रिसर्च, द स्कोप एंड द एक्नॉलेजमेंट्स. नाउ व्हाट इज टू बी इंक्लूडेड इन द टाइटल पेज? टाइटल ऑफ द or the topic of the report, name or title of the person to whom it is addressed, बाहर की एजेंसी के लिए किया है तो उसका नाम आएगा. And if you are submitting the thesis to university, you will say a dissertation submitted to some university. You can write down the name of the university under Faculty of Engineering and Technology for award of PhD degree. Or we write a dissertation submitted to Punjab University Chandigarh in partial fulfillment to the requirement of Master of Engineering under the Faculty of Engineering and Technology. Then the name of the author and the institution to which they belong. Date of completion भी आएगा, or presentation you can say. and all the title is to be written in capital letters, and the inverted pyramid, that is, they say title runs on 2-3 lines. First line will be longer, second line will be slightly shorter, third line will be shorter than the second line. Okay, so inverted pyramid. Then you will have a page on acknowledgement. You will acknowledge your thesis to only those persons who have provided you sufficient support while the conduct of your research work. Many times we have noticed that some researchers, they acknowledge their family members, parents, children, husband, wife. भैया उनकी सपोर्ट के बिना तो कुछ नहीं है, वो तो पक्की बात है, लेकिन यहां लिखने की जरूरत नहीं है. Here you will acknowledge your work only to those individuals who have provided you substantial help while in the conduct of research, or while in reporting, or while typing the document, etc. और या जहां उस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के प्रिंसिपल या HOD जिन्होंने आपको परमिशन दिया है फॉर कैरिंग आउट द वर्क और फॉर प्रोवाइडिंग द इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर और इक्विपमेंट, etc. a technical support person, etc. Then in case of ME thesis, PhD dissertation, a candidate has to give the declaration that he or she has carried out the work and it is his or her own work. So declaration is also needed by some of the universities. Then you will prepare the table of contents. Why a table of content is very important? Because there are various types of readers who want to know specific information. And if you have arranged the whole thesis, आपने देखा बुक में टेबल ऑफ कंटेंट होता है, चैप्टर्स आर अरेंज्ड, उनके पेज नंबर दिए होते हैं. आपको सारी बुक नहीं पढ़नी. अगर मान लीजिए आपने एब्स्ट्रैक्ट पढ़ने हैं या थीसिस में ऑब्जेक्टिव या पर्पस पढ़ना है, तो यू विल गो टू द टेबल ऑफ कंटेंट एंड फाइंड आउट ऑन विच पेज the objectives or the methodology appear. You will quickly go to that page. You are not interested in reading the rest of the material. So table of content is very important, and in which you will include the list of preliminary material. उनको आप Roman numerals में डालेंगे, the body and the reference material in the same sequence as they occur in the report, and the page on which these begin. Then you will also include a list of tables. All tables which you have prepared in the thesis or dissertation or the report, you will arrange. Okay. So say table 2.1. It means the first table of chapter 2. You will write its title of the table and the page number on which it appeared. So you will prepare a table. You will write the list of tables in tabular format. First column is serial number, second column is table number, third column is the heading of that table, and fourth column is the page number on which it appears. Likewise, you will also prepare a list of figures or illustrations or abbreviations, if any. ये सारा जो है, all these components belong to preliminary material. एक और पार्ट है प्रीलिमिनरी का, that is the abstract. Abstract is also very important because there are some researchers who first of all want to know what you have carried out and what are the main findings. जर्नल में आर्टिकल आप पढ़ते हो, तो आप सारा पेपर नहीं पढ़ते. आप टाइटल से अंदाजा लगाते हैं कि ये पेपर जो है मेरी रिसर्च के लिए रेलेवेंट है, तो पहले आप एब्स्ट्रैक्ट पढ़ते हो. एंड on reading the abstract you can make out whether you want to read the whole of the paper or it is sufficient. आप उसको आइडेंटिफाई कर लेते हो, उसके बाद उसको डिटेल में बाद में कंप्लीट पढ़ते हो पेपर को. So it helps the busy reader who has no time to read anything else. So it is very important abstract. It helps those who do intend to read whole report but would appreciate a small précis first. Sentence structure, short sentences, highly informative, logically consistent, क्योंकि इसमें हमने irrelevant material नहीं लिखना, right? Main purpose, some small procedure and the main findings. Okay, so no abbreviation is जहां पर लिखेंगे because the readers are not known about various abbreviation, तो यहाँ abbreviation नहीं होगी. Complete sentences, third person past tense में लिखेंगे because मैंने पहले बोला है report is written after the research is carried out, and you will limit it to specified number of words. Sometimes there is a requirement of a particular journal that your abstract should not include more than 200 words or 300 words or 500 words. So accordingly you will limit it to. Okay, and top bottom margin जो पेज का है 25 millimeter, left hand margin 35 millimeter and right hand margin 25 millimeter. ये सारे thesis में. Otherwise every university has his own you can say the format. तो आप उस यूनिवर्सिटी का रिक्वायरमेंट देखिए कि लेफ्ट हैंड साइड मार्जिन, राइट हैंड साइड मार्जिन, टॉप बॉटम मार्जिन कितना होना चाहिए, वेदर द रिपोर्ट इज टू बी रिटन ऑन न्यू टाइम्स रोमन और एरियल, ये सारी चीजें वो बताती हैं. फॉन्ट साइज क्या है, फॉन्ट टाइप क्या है, यू हैव टू फॉलो दैट. तो फॉन्ट साइज कितना है वो भी आपको उतना ही लिखना है, राइट, अगर वो थीसिस है. नाउ कमिंग टू द बॉडी ऑफ द रिपोर्ट. First chapter is about the introduction. So the purpose is to let the reader knows the reason why you undertook the project, what you expected to find out, and why this study is very important. So it means you give a small introduction. You will also define the problem. And before definition of the problem, you have to write the justification, significance of the problem, emergence of the study. Okay, ऐसे कुछ heading है. Need of the study, उसके बाद statement of the problem आएगा. Then some authors they prefer for a separate chapter on review of literature, और कुछ जो है readers, कुछ जो writers हैं they include review of literature chapter in the introduction chapter only. तो कभी कभी ये requirement भी होती है that you have to write separate chapter. So establish a theoretical base. बहुत बार हमने देखा है dissertation review is given, लेकिन review को summarize नहीं किया end में, because on the basis of review, on the basis of summary of the review, you formulate the hypothesis. ये hypothesis आपके direct होंगे या null hypothesis होंगे. So review of literature के basis के ऊपर you will establish a theoretical base, and then statement of hypothesis, prediction of facts, relationship based on existing information, or you can test them experimentally or empirically. Then you will also include another heading in the chapter on introduction, that is the delimitation. Okay, delimitation could be in existing reference population, treatment, or instrument used. For example, topic is to study the effect of computer assisted instruction on achievement of students in digital electronics. Now the population is huge. You can delimit that. The present study was limited or delimited to 200 students studying in the third semester in the subject of digital electronics in say 4 engineering colleges of Punjab state. You are not any, that is the other readers could know that your results are based upon the data collected only from these institutions. ठीक है, तो हमने इसमें सारा कुछ जो है ट्रूथफुली इसमें मेंशन करना है. So delimitation in terms of treatment, ट्रीटमेंट में जैसे मैंने बोला CI पैकेज है, so I can say that we have taken CI package as the experimental treatment, and to compare with the control group, we have taken the conventional method. Okay, और some instruments, भी आपके पास ये instruments available हैं, हमने इनके ऊपर जो है experiment perform किया है. Okay, and then you have to write down the operational definitions of the terms. Thesis का title है Effectiveness of Computer Assisted Instruction on Achievement of Students in Digital Electronics. तो इसमें कौन से terms आए हैं? एक तो आया term Computer Assisted Instruction. You have to define it. What do you mean by Computer Assisted Instruction? Because format could vary from one stage to another stage, or from one person to another person. BCI package को वो क्या समझता है, and achievement could mean differently. Okay, तो आपके thesis में achievement का purpose क्या, meaning क्या है, and the digital electronics, because ये भी बहुत बड़ा है इसका scope. So what do you mean by digital electronics? So you have to give the definition of these terms. You have to provide operational definitions. Then the then the second chapter is about the methodology, which would begin with research design. Which research design you have chosen for carrying out the project, and you have to provide the justification. And the subject, the number of respondents, उनका classification कैसे किया, उनका selection कैसे किया, whether random लिया, cluster random sampling लिया, and so many. Then data gathering instruments, उसका list देंगे, and if the data gathering instrument is already constructed, तो उस author का name और उस tool के कितने components हैं, कितनी dimensions हैं, उसका reliability quotient कितना है और validity क्या है. But if you have developed your own tool, then you have to write the procedure of developing the tool, procedure for computing the reliability and validity, right? So data gathering instruments. Then the procedure. Say in my case, मैंने example लिया effectiveness of computer assisted instruction on achievement of students in digital electronics. I would say the study was carried out in 3 phases. In phase 1, the tools were developed like CI package and achievement test, they were developed. In the second phase, the students were administered achievement test as pre-test, followed by teaching learning for say 15 days. And in the third phase, the achievement test as post test was administered. और procedure में आपने observation भी लिखनी है कि while conduct of data आपने कौन सी problems encounter की, कौन सी problem face की, आपके experiences क्या रहे. You have to mention environment कैसा था. And then the statistical tools. Say मेरे इस case में I will say that descriptive statistics, namely central tendency, variation, skewness and kurtosis were computed to study the nature of distribution of data. And then one-way analysis of variance was computed to find out the significance of difference between means of the two groups or to infer the results. Okay. So in this way, you will write down which statistical techniques you have chosen for analysis of data. And then the third chapter is about presentation and analysis of data. Now here you will tabulate the data. Frequency distribution tables will be prepared. Frequency polygons will be drawn to study the nature of distribution of data. Figures, tables, illustrations for examining the data more closely, readily. Then the data analysis you will write down. अगर आपने SPSS सॉफ्टवेयर से उसको एनालाइज किया, उसका मेंशन करेंगे. उसकी जो कंप्यूटेशंस हैं वो डालेंगे, प्रिंट आउट आएगा उसका। एंड देन द प्रेजेंटेशन ऑफ द फाइंडिंग्स एंड इंटरप्रिटेशन ऑफ रिजल्ट्स। फाइंडिंग्स को आप प्रेजेंट करेंगे, इंटरप्रिटेशन कैसे करेंगे? जब आपने फाइंड आउट किया कि आपका सिग्निफिकेंट डिफरेंस आया, ओके, तो यू हैव टू राइट डाउन द पॉसिबल रीजंस and you have to support this finding with the review of literature which you have already carried out. You will mention कि भी ये study जो है, these support my findings, these studies do not support my findings. वो आपको जो review लिखा है उसका यहाँ पर connection आएगा, and you will write down why, what is the possible reason that you got the not significant result. You have to mention the possible reason and you have to supplement with some studies. So presentation of findings and interpretation of results. Then the final chapter is about the summary, the conclusion and the recommendations. So in this chapter, you will write introduction in one paragraph, followed by justification of your problem, and one paragraph about the summary of review of literature, followed by research design, sample, tools taken, data analysis, बहुत short में, and then the findings, main findings, and also the conclusion, as well as the implication of your study. आपकी ये जो स्टडी हुई है इसका जो सिग्निफिकेंस है कहां पर होगा, किस वर्ड ऑफ वर्क में इसको यूज किया जा सकता है, राइट? So you have to give the application of your findings in some situations. You have to write down. And the third section was the reference section. इसमें people have been using these two terms, bibliography and references, interchangeably. The meaning is slightly different. Bibliography cites works for background or for further study. References कौन से होते हैं? That specifically support your research because you are referring, okay? लेकिन हम कंबाइन कर देते हैं रेफरेंस और बिब्लियोग्राफी इकट्ठा लेके, उसमें बुक को भी हमने पढ़ा, उसका भी रेफरेंस दे दिया वगैरह वगैरह. एंड दीज आर रिटन इन अल्फाबेटिकल ऑर्डर, और समटाइम इसको हम क्रोनोलॉजिकल नंबर में देते हैं जिस नंबर में टेक्स्ट में वो अपीयर हो रहा है. Right? And then appendix is another part of reference material. So you see sometimes some information or some data does not find an adequate place in the text of your report, but it is also very important. You append at the end. Say मैंने achievement test बनाया, अचीवमेंट टेस्ट का मैंने रेफरेंस दे दिया दैट इट इज अपेंडेड एट पेज नंबर सो एंड सो, या मैंने जो है इंस्ट्रक्शन मटेरियल बनाया दैट इज गिवन एट द एंड. सो वो उसको सीक्वेंस, वहां पर उसका सीक्वेंस फिट नहीं बैठता. सो ए बियरिंग ऑन द रिपोर्ट बट कैनॉट बी इजीली फिटेड इनटू द बॉडी ऑफ द रिपोर्ट, सो इट इज अपेंडेड एट द एंड. नाउ रूल्स फॉर राइटिंग टेबल्स. एक तो पहली बात है जितने भी टेबल्स हैं उनमें यूनिफॉर्मिटी होनी चाहिए. तो टाइटल होना चाहिए इंक्लूडिंग द रेफरेंट और सोर्स ऑफ कंटेंट. कई बार हम टेबल तो ले लेते हैं कहीं और से लेकिन उसका सोर्स नहीं दिया. अगर तो आपने खुद बनाया है डेटा एनालिसिस के लिए फ्रीक्वेंसी डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन, देन इट्स ओके, उसका टाइटल देंगे. बट इफ यू हैव टेकन इट फ्रॉम सम अदर सोर्स, उसका नीचे सोर्स आएगा, रेफरेंस आएगा. सब हेडिंग फॉर रोज एंड कॉलम्स सो दैट एनीबॉडी कैन अंडरस्टैंड. इट शुड बी सेल्फ एक्सप्लेनेटरी. ये जो टेबल है लिमिटेड इंफॉर्मेशन होनी चाहिए, नॉट वेरी क्राउडी. टेबल ऑन ए सिंगल पेज. कई बार पेज टेबल बड़ा आता है तो आधा इस टेबल पे आ गया, पेज पे आ गया, आधा अगले पेज पे आ गया. ऐसा नहीं, हमने उसकी सेटिंग ऐसे करनी है कि एक ही पेज पे वो अपीयर हो. टेबल फॉर्मेट कंसिस्टेंट होने चाहिए सारे थीसिस में, एंड हॉरिजॉन्टल लाइंस होनी चाहिए. फॉर एग्जांपल ये मैंने बनाया टेबल 2.1, means and standard deviation of first semester students in Punjab. Okay, So measures are taken: English, physics, chemistry, mathematics, drawing. Okay. Then mean and standard deviation of experimental group 1, mean and standard deviation of group 2, and mean and standard deviation of group 3, control group. So this table you can prepare 2.1, because it is appearing in the chapter 2 and it is the first table. This is the format of a formal report: table of contents, acknowledgement. It is appearing on second page, list of table, list of figure, abstract, then the chapter. So first chapter is introduction. It runs on 13 pages. Okay, उसके बाद उसकी decimal classification कर दिया. 1.1 is the statement of the problem. It is appearing on page number 1. Literature review on page number 4. Bibliography from 51 to 55. Appendix is from 56 to 58 page. So this is the complete format of a formal report. List of tables, ये आपने शुरू में देना है reference material में. 1.1 table heading and page number on which it appears. Likewise 3.1 table 3, so list of table, and likewise you can prepare for list of figures or abbreviations, etc. So this is about the format of a research report. Now if you have any clarification, you want to have any clarification, quickly we can go through it. Yes.